You know, when you picture suburbia, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For most of us, it's probably quiet streets, perfectly manicured lawns, that feeling of predictable safety. It's supposed to be the ideal place to raise a family. But what happens when that idyllic image just completely shatters? Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to look at 3 true stories where the safest places imaginable become the absolute scariest.
So our first story kicks off with a setup we've all seen in movies, right? A 17-year-old narrator is home alone for the very first time. His parents, who are always there, are finally gone for the weekend. I mean, this is a huge deal, a total break from the norm, and it creates this perfect little vacuum for something totally unexpected to slip right in. And that really gets us to the core of what we're exploring today. This unique kind of terror that bubbles up when our most basic assumptions about safety are just violated. See, this isn't about some monster hiding out in the woods. It's about a threat that gets inside the very walls we trust to protect us.
So our narrator, taking full advantage of the empty house, invites his girlfriend over for a late-night swim in his heated pool. I mean, it's a perfect scene, almost romantic. They're just floating in their own little bubble, feeling completely safe and secluded in the quiet of his backyard.
From the darkness of the pool, they can see right back into the living room, all lit up. And he says it looked just like a dollhouse, safe, contained, totally familiar. Well, that feeling of comfort just shatters in an instant. He glances up and sees it, a shadow moving on a far wall, a clear silhouette of someone walking deeper into his home.
Okay, so he gets his girlfriend to safety in the pool house and then he heads inside. He grabs a knife and starts this incredibly tense search. But here's the thing. What he finds isn't chaos. It's these small, deeply unsettling disturbances. A dining room chair pulled out just a little, a picture frame crooked on the wall, a coffee mug on the counter he knows he didn't use. These aren't the signs of a normal robbery. It feels personal, almost psychological.
So the police come, they search the entire house and find absolutely nothing. No signs of forced entry, they leave, and the couple tries to get some sleep on the downstairs couch. But then, at 4 a.m., he hears it. Creaking floorboards, footsteps, moving down the stairs. The intruder wasn't gone. He'd been hiding in the house the entire time. The narrator just bolts for the front door, but it's already wide open, and the person is gone.
The next morning, it gets even weirder. Sure, some cash and a few watches are gone, but that's not the part that chills you to the bone. The real kicker is this. All of the kitchen knives are missing. Every single one. It wasn't just a robbery. It felt like some kind of message. And the scariest part, to this day, he has no idea how the person got in or where on earth they were hiding.
All right, so let's see how this same fear can play out in a totally different, safe environment. Our second story takes us to Rowan University during Holly Bash, which is like the campus's biggest spring festival. You've got carnival rides, food trucks, concerts, the whole thing. It's a quiet suburban college town that's just buzzing with energy, a place that should feel incredibly secure.
So a student is walking back to his dorm late at night. There had been some reports earlier about a masked group on bikes harassing people, but, he didn't think much of it. Then, at 2:30 a.m., he walks into his supposedly secure keycard access dorm and finds a man in a full black ski mask just sitting there, in complete silence. The student obviously flees, but the terror just ramps up. He's followed by 3 more masked bikers who start taunting him and waving what look like guns.
And this right here is what makes this story so terrifying. A keycard is supposed to keep strangers out, right? But an intruder was already waiting inside. A fun campus festival became the backdrop for what felt like a coordinated campaign of pure intimidation. All the systems that are designed to create a safe little sanctuary for students had just completely and utterly failed.
For our final case, we're going to another classic suburban scene, a massive house party in a wealthy neighborhood. So the narrator is at his girlfriend's house while her parents are out of town, and the place is packed with college-aged camp counselors, loud music, you know the vibe, chaotic but fun.
The narrator steps outside for a second to get some air and sees a man just standing at the edge of the property. When he walks over, the man asks this simple, chilling question, "Are your parents home?" But it's the follow-up that's just terrifying. He asks again, only this time, he uses the girlfriend's parents' actual names. He knows who lives there, and he knows they're not home. He tries to just brush it off, but later on, he hears the doorbell. Now, the rule for the party was clear. Everyone uses the back door. So this is an immediate red flag. Turns out, some drunk guest answered the front door and let in a total stranger, an old guy, who just claimed he was a family friend. The narrator's worst fears are confirmed when he runs upstairs and finds his girlfriend's parents' room has been completely ransacked.
He figures the robber has already grabbed what he came for and bolted, so he's about to head back downstairs to the party when he just catches a flicker of movement in a mirror on the back of the bedroom door. It's just this quick little shift, like someone ducking out of view right behind him. And he realizes with this surge of adrenaline, the robber isn't gone. He's still in the room.
He spins around, but he's way too slow. Before he can even process what's happening, before he can even see the guy's face, he's tackled hard to the ground. The intruder claws at him for a second before scrambling up, diving out an open window onto the roof, and just disappearing into the night.
So what do these three stories really tell us? I mean, they're not just random scary encounters. They tap into a very specific and really powerful kind of fear. They work by deconstructing our trust in the very places we believe are the safest.
Let's just break this down. In our first story, The Invisible Intruder, the safe space was the childhood home. The threat was this unseen presence. And it leaves you with that burning question, how did he get in? Then with the campus predator, the college dorm becomes a hunting ground through anonymous intimidation. And we're left asking, who were they? And finally, in the deceptive crowd, the chaos of a party is used by a deceptive stranger, making us wonder, how did he know so much?
And this is really the ultimate takeaway. The horror of suburbia comes from this violation of the predictable. It suggests that the routines, the locked doors, the friendly neighborhoods that we all rely on are actually a pretty fragile illusion. Because at the end of the day, true terror isn't some external obvious monster. It's the quiet, unexplained wrongness in a place you thought you knew inside and out.
And all of this leaves us with a pretty lingering thought, doesn't it? When the lights are out and you hear an unfamiliar sound in your own home, what do you trust more? The lock on your door, or that sinking feeling that something just isn't right? It really makes you question it. Just how safe is the place you call home?